Hi, we're back to our story, What Would Jesus Do? We're going to start today with chapter 16, called Light of the World. On Saturday morning, the sky was cloudy and dark. Pastor Henry went outdoors to walk and pray. There he saw Bill sitting and staring at the storm cellar door. "Hello, Bill," he called. "Good morning, Pastor. Is that cellar door locked?" "No, Bill. Do you want to get in there?" "Oh, no, not me, Pastor. In fact, maybe it should be locked right away." "Well, Bill, we keep the cellar open so when there's terrible storms blow, people can go inside and be safe." "Safe? Is it safe down there, Pastor?" "As safe as anywhere." "No spiders or snakes?" "No snakes that I know of, Bill. Maybe a spider or two, but I think a spider is safer than a storm, don't you?" "I guess so. But isn't it terribly dark down there?" The pastor whistled and said, "Dark indeed, especially in a storm. I was down there once in the darkest storm I've ever known. But in that darkness I remembered these words that Jesus said, 'I am the light of the world, and whoever follows me will never walk in darkness.'" Jesus is the light, and he's the light in us. When we sing, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine." Bill, no matter how dark it seems, we really do have light, since we have Jesus with us. Good words to remember, don't you think? "I think so, Pastor. May I have a drink?" The pastor led the way to the well. See, this was a long time ago, and they didn't have sinks to go to. Got their water from a well. Pumped up water for Bill. Bill took 3 sips and then asked, "Do we know anyone who lives on Riddle Hill?" The pastor answered, "Not yet, but tomorrow we will, when we meet them all at the picnic." Bill dug his hands into his pockets. "Pastor, if a fire burned all the houses on Riddle Hill, how much would it matter? How much should we care?" The pastor looked closely at his friend. "Bill, how much would Jesus care?" Before Bill could answer, rain started to fall. "Come on inside," the pastor said. Bill answered, "No, thanks. I'll just hurry home." The pastor said quietly, "Bill, before you go, is there something you want to tell me? Something we could pray about together?" Both of them now were soaking wet from the rain. Bill started to speak, but didn't. He looked back at the cellar door. It made him feel so afraid. Remember those boys that threatened to put him down there if he told? Bill turned, and again he ran away. So he still hasn't told anybody. The pastor walked by the cellar door. There he stopped in the rain and prayed, "Lord Jesus, whatever is troubling Bill today, help him to do as you would do. Show him the way, and please don't let him forget how much you love him." Chapter 17, A Shared Secret. You think he's going to tell somebody? All day Saturday the rain came down, but Sunday was sunny and people came to church wearing their biggest smiles. As they thought about the big picnic to be held that very afternoon, all the boys and girls in Miss Page's class were laughing and talking. All that is, except for Bill. Claire saw Bill's sadness and thought, "I know how to make him happy." That afternoon she found him outside, where the men were roasting the meat. "Bill, I have a secret to share. The Riddle Hill people will soon be here. And guess who'll come with them? They live at Riddle Hill, but we didn't know it. I won't make you guess, Bill. I'll tell you who they are. Our two very best friends who taught us to ask, what would Jesus do? Yes, Jack and Mr. Manning. Claire thought this would make Bill smile, but instead, Bill turned away shouting, I've got to warn them. He was off like a flash, running faster than ever before. You see the smoke? All along the road, the people of Riddle Hill were coming to the picnic. Bill looked at every face. Where were Mr. Manning and Jack? He finally found them at the very end of the line, for Mr. Manning was slow. Bill, what's wrong? Asked Jack. Bill told them everything. I know 3 boys who plan to set fire to Riddle Hill today while everyone is at the picnic. They said they would throw me in the storm cellar if I told anyone, but now I don't care. Jack gave a cry. Oh no, there's smoke right above Riddle Hill. Mr. Manning quickly gave orders. Jack, run as fast as you can to the church. Tell everyone there that Riddle Hill is on fire. See it over here? Run, Jack, and Bill, you come with me. We'll go up to Riddle Hill. You will be my eyes. As they hurried along, Mr. Manning asked Bill, Did you tell those boys that setting fires is wrong? I could have, Mr. Manning, but instead I ran away. Why didn't you come and talk to Jack and me? I tried to, Mr. Manning, but instead I ran away. Couldn't you tell Pastor Henry what was happening? I wanted to, Mr. Manning, but instead I ran away. They climbed the dirt road to Riddle Hill. What do you see? Asked Mr. Manning. Bill answered, Lots and lots of smoke. They reached the top and stopped. Now what do you see? Mr. Manning asked. Bill said sadly, Everyone's home is burning. The fire and smoke goes higher and higher. I'm sorry, Mr. Manning. Your house must be burning too. Mr. Manning smelled the awful smoke. He felt the terrible heat, and he heard the sound of Bill crying. Mr. Manning spoke softly. Bill, how many times did you run away this week? 3 times, sir. You know, Bill, that reminds me of Peter in the Bible. He turned away from Jesus 3 times. But when Peter was sorry, do you remember what Jesus did? Yes, sir. Jesus forgave him. That's right, Bill. I know you're sorry for what you've done, and I know Jesus will forgive you. I forgive you too. That's what Jesus would do. I'm sorry too, a voice cried out behind them. Who do you think it is? They turned and saw Beanie Joe, who said, I came back to stop the burning, but I couldn't. I know it was wrong to help to start the fire. Please help me learn to do what's right and tell me more about Jesus. We will, said Mr. Manning. Remember, he's the boy that was with them that really he wanted to go to the picnic. He didn't want to be a part of this fire. Then hundreds of people came up the hill with a fire wagon in the lead. They brought buckets and axes and shovels to fight the fire, but it was all too late. And that brings us to chapter 19 for next time.